I'm going. So whenever you're ready to go.
Cool. Let's do it. Hold on. All right. Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies, where nerd is the new bully. I'm your host, Leroy, with my co-host.
This is Eli in a half shell.
There we go. He's all right. Which one are you though?
I'll be Raphael because I'm
Raphael. Okay. Now, here's the thing. There's actually scientific evidence behind this. They're saying that your favorite turtle is based on your favorite personality.
Yeah.
They say there's only like 4 personalities on the planet. You know, like Raphael's like instinctive, Leo is the alpha, Donnie is the beta, Mikey is the, I guess
goofball.
Not really goofball, but the guy that likes to stand out in a crowd,
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Like the guy the center of attention, I put it like that. So if you listen to this podcast, you are one of the Ninja Turtles. So whichever one you are, that explains a lot about you. So if you're Donnie, yeah, you're a beta. Do something about that. You probably can't because it's encoded in your DNA, but whatever. That being said, we can move on. Eli, did you get a chance to watch the Oscars last night?
I did not because I was working, but I saw some clips online. So
okay. To be honest with you,
I heard about them.
I heard about it also. As a matter of fact, I was watching the Oscars and fell asleep. All right. I mean, it's not really my thing. I don't know. It's like the first Oscar in like the last 2 years black people weren't boycotting. So now we go back to what we were doing before and just not watching it. So
yeah,
it all.
Did you happen to see the Indian?
No. When did that happen?
Well, we finally had an Indian, a Native American on TV, man. You might have missed it.
I mean, it was one back in 1970 that boycotted on stage, didn't it? Do you remember that one? I know you remember that one. Yeah.
Sasheen Littlefeather over that was Godfather when Marlon Brando won for the Godfather. Yeah. No, Wes Studi, native actor. He was in Dances with Wolves. He was in. He was one of the voices of the blue alien Indians in Avatar. He got to present for the military or something. They were honoring the military.
Oh, so he was like, so he was invited there.
Yeah, he actually presented an award.
Oh, okay. I thought you said he was boycotting.
I guess he was in Vietnam. Yeah, I guess he served in Vietnam, so he presented an award or whatever. Something about how Hollywood honors the military with all their war films and shit. They showed clips of, Full Metal Jacket and Saving Private Ryan and all that shit, Patton and Platoon and all them Oscar war movies and shit.
Yeah, Captain America: First Avengers, all that, yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's rare where there's a Native American on TV. So, and I missed it. I had to watch. I had to see it on the internet.
See, that's why you need to quit boycotting the Oscars.
I had to search for it, and yeah, I had a hard time searching for it. Like I pulled up YouTube. West Studi Oscars, and like nothing came up.
Right. Finally, a Native American that was invited to the Oscars. That's a big moment. So, yeah. But like I said, I fell asleep. Oh, okay. Eli, you said who won that I should give a shit about?
Well, The Shape of Water won Best Picture.
Oh yeah, Shape of Water won Best Picture.
Guillermo del Toro.
You said you did see that, right?
I did see that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool.
A lot of, the thing is about these Oscar movies, a lot of people don't watch them, so they just automatically just say bad things about it. Like, oh, is that Fishman bestiality movie? Oh, I see why I won the Oscar. Like, that's kind of an oversimplification of that movie. I'm pretty sure it's more going on with it than that, Maybe it's not. I don't know. I haven't seen it. But they're saying it's supposed to be like a Splash remake?
Or I guess there's elements of that. It's not funny like Splash was. It was more like Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I don't know. I saw this
Beauty and the Beast, sort of.
Because I saw this YouTube video where they had like scenes of Splash and scenes of Shape of Water, and you almost couldn't tell which one was which, except one was a fish man, the other was like naked Daryl Hannah. Other than that, it was like the same thing.
Yeah. Well, in Shape of Water, the fish man doesn't turn into like Denzel or a hot dude, you know what I mean? Like in Splash,
right?
Like she was a hot chick,
right?
No, he's pretty much an ugly motherfucker through the whole movie,
Okay. So I don't know. So people are freaking out about that. Good for Shape of Water. I probably will like it. I may even I probably will watch it. May even like it. I don't know. But you said it was somebody else I should give a shit about, right?
Oh yeah, Get Out won original screenplay.
Cool. Get Out. I was shocked about that. I knew it was gonna get nominated, but I thought it was gonna pass over some other bullshit I never seen before. But glad Get Out won. I heard when I woke up. Well, actually, I saw this. Kobe Bryant won last night. The NBA basketball player. So good. LA Lakers. Yeah, he won an Oscar for a movie.
Oh damn! I did not even know.
Yeah, I didn't even know he had a movie. Mary J. Blige was nominated. I don't know if she won. Like I said, I fell asleep. She did a performance. Other than that, that's only thing I can think of. Yeah, the Oscars is the Oscars. I really don't give a shit. I just look it up online when it's all said and done. Because who gives a fuck? That being said, can we move on?
But horror movies. Like, I mean, Get Out was a horror flick. You can classify The Shape of Water as a horror. It had to deal with the horror elements. It had a monster in it. So it's kind of cool that horror took over the Oscars this
year. Well, because before this happened, they said that there has never been a horror movie that won the Oscar for anything. I don't know if that's true or not. But
Silence of the Lambs won Best Picture.
Oh, cool.
Back in the day. But, but other than that, there's really horror doesn't really get nominated. I think Jaws was nominated back in the 70s, and The Exorcist, those movies where they didn't win though. They never won, most of the time,
Gotcha.
Genre movies never win usually. Less like Lord of the Rings won, that one time,
Yeah, and that almost seemed like a fluke, but it happened, so it's whatever. I mean, it's just like Star Wars used to win a lot, back then. You can say
Star Wars was nominated for Best Picture,
right. That's what I'm saying. And Star Wars is a genre movie. It doesn't seem like it, but it is. Yeah,
usually they win for special effects or some technical award, sound effects or costume.
I'll be honest with you. That's when I fell asleep right then, because when they nominated The Last Jedi for sound effects and it didn't win, I'm like, oh, fuck this bullshit. Like that's when that's why I seem like the Oscars like to pick shit nobody's seen, so you can't argue against them. Pick a movie nobody's seen. If it's bad, nobody know. If you pick a popular movie, like Star Wars, was did like 600 million domestically. Yeah, of course, people are gonna have opinions about it because everybody's seen it. But pick some other movie nobody's seen. We just got to just take your word for it. But yeah, they love to do shit like that. So when I saw that, and you saw Dunkirk, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so apparently Dunkirk won best sound editing or best sound mixing over Star Wars. I'm like, really? Like it's Lucasfilms. That's what they do.
Yeah, they invented sound effects.
Exactly. So who should beat them? Unless it's somebody, that's a splinter group from them. Then you just can't just beat them. But whatever. I don't know. And one more thing. Who the hell is Eliza Gonzalez?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my
gosh. I don't even know.
Yeah. Well, whatever it was, she's beautiful. I don't know what the fuck movie she's in. She just showed up like, what the fuck? Usually hot actresses and hot chicks, you're supposed to know that stuff. You're supposed to know, okay, that's Scarlett Johansson. That's Halle Berry. So let's see this chick like, whoa, what the fuck? She's hot. She's in the Oscars, so she's supposed to be in something. So not worried about it. They'll stick in a superhero movie sooner or later. That's what they always do. And so that being said, can we move on past the Oscars? Like I said, we talked long enough about the Oscars, and neither one of us even really watched the shit.
Yeah.
One more thing I did want to say, not Oscar related, but kind of Oscar related. Wind River is on Netflix.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see it yet. I was gonna sit down and get a chance to check it out, but yeah, Wind River's on Netflix. We know it was snubbed. We know why it was snubbed, but hey, that's life. So
yeah.
Sometimes you get punished for some dumb shit other people do. So
yeah, check it out. It's cool.
I will. Like I said, it's on Netflix. So I definitely check it out. Netflix rarely get good movies, so when they finally get one, I definitely do check it out. That being said, now we said we can move on to the box office numbers. And Eli, take a wild guess. What is number one for the third week straight?
Black Panther.
Yes, Black Panther is number one again in his third week straight, hitting record numbers. And we'll go back to Black Panther number in a second, but let's just run through here and see what else we have. What do you think number two was?
I don't know. Is there a cartoon still? I don't know.
No, okay. I just do the rundown. Okay, like I said, we got number two, Red Sparrow.
Really? Is that out?
That's out. Yeah, the Red Sparrow, the Jennifer Aniston movie. Now, I'm gonna give you a breakdown of Red Sparrow. Red Sparrow, Eli, is not what you think it is, or it's not what I thought it was.
It's not the Black Widow movie.
They sell it as a Black Widow movie. but it's not really a Black Widow movie because the thing is supposed to be like realistic. It was written by an actual CIA agent, like the novel is based on a CIA agent, and basically like she didn't have any like assassination skills like shit. All she do is just bang dudes. That's all she does.
Was this written by a woman?
I think it was written by a dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it may be directed by a woman. I don't know. But the thing is, it's not like 50 Shades where it's like, like the hot steamy sex scene. Like she might be banging some like 300-pound dude or something like that. Like shit she don't really want to do. And technically she's like a prostitute for the, Russian government or some shit. And she's saying how it affects her. And she's getting psychological damage from it and shit like that. And, it's basically they're saying it's not the movie you think it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You might like that type of shit, Eli. I don't know. I'm like, I'll pass on that.
Yeah, I have really no interest in seeing Red.
Okay.
I don't know. That might make me an asshole, but I don't really care.
But if they sold as a Black Widow movie, that had me interested. When I heard it was like torture porn, I was like, it's okay.
Oh, really? Oh, well, then maybe I will watch it.
What the fuck? The shit I didn't think would sell you didn't sell you. This shit, whatever. Okay.
Well, it looked like Lucy or what's that, Salt or whatever, which I still never seen Lucy or Salt.
They're exactly what you expect them to be.
Yeah.
I've seen both of those movies, and I was like, okay. Yeah. Salt was actually supposed to be a Tom Cruise movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like his name's supposed to be Evan Salt. But then they put it got stuck in development hell. They decided to switch him out with Angelina Jolie and call it Evelyn Salt, and just ran away with it. So, but those movies are exactly what you expect them to be. But Red Sparrow is not what you expect it to be. They say it's supposed to be like realistic. It's showing like the whole psychological aspect of what it is to be like a government horror or whatever. Whatever it is. Just watch the movie. Just think about it like it. Anyway, moving past that, number 3 we have Death Wish, 2018. Oh. Yeah. Not Charles Bronson. Yeah,
I saw it. I went and saw it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what you think about it?
It's all right.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
It wasn't as cool as I was hoping. I was hoping for some. I guess I wanted a little bit more action.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, yeah. Is it the Punisher movie we've been hoping for?
No, it's not.
No,
It was trying to be. But it just, I don't know. Maybe it's just Eli Roth movies, man. The pacing is just so, it takes forever to get going. And it just, yeah, I was just like, I felt myself getting bored and not giving a shit. And, yeah, which was disappointing because I was really hoping for, the kill scenes, the kill scenes are cool because it's Eli Roth and he's a horror director and he relishes in the gore and shit. So the violence is really brutal and but and graphic and bloody. But it was just slow. I just thought it was slow. that was my thing.
Wow, that's kind of bad for a movie that's supposed to have like all kind of action and stuff like that. But oh well.
Yeah, it felt like it was trying, and it felt like it was trying to make a statement and be deeper than it was, as far as like making a statement on gun violence and taking the law into your own hands. And you can make that argument about, that's the gun debate is in, that is a hot topic these days. And the timing of this movie, people are arguing that it's bad timing, but
that's the thing. We live in a fucked up world that there's no such thing as the right timing.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, for those who just want to bitch about, and just, pretend that this movie needs to fit some sort of agenda. Come on. You're trying to legislate art. In entertainment. John Wick. You can say that about John Wick, and no one gives a shit about that. The Matrix and all these other action movies, and that just, they're just action movies. Fucking Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez movies. It's the same shit. It's just people want to put an agenda to this movie, which is unfair to the movie, but it doesn't make the movie any better if you don't put the agenda. It's being sabotaged by the topic. You know what I mean? The gun topic is sort of sabotaging this movie, but the movie is not that great to begin with. So
yeah. Now let me ask you this: does the movie address those issues, even like for a split second?
Yeah, there's like all these like Sway in the morning. There's all these cut scenes of him having like a radio talk show, and they're just talking about gun violence and guns and stuff throughout the movie, kind of sprinkled in throughout the movie. And it's just, they don't really need them. That, like, it's unnecessary. It's like the movie's trying to be deeper than it really is. And if they just went straight up, this is a revenge action movie, it'd be fine, and because it doesn't, you don't need to go there, because people can disassociate art with real life and be entertained, by art, and not have to escape, what you will, from the bullshit of the world, or to deal with the bullshit of the world through art and entertainment. And that's basically why we watch these movies.
Right. Well, the thing is, the original Death Wish actually did deal with, gun control, racial profiling. It did. I mean, it didn't harp on them. It was almost like maybe like a throwaway line that you got to watch the movie 2 or 3 times to even catch, the stuff like that. It wasn't just overt in your face,
Yeah, the original movie, the very first one, dealt with, crime and the justice system and the failed justice system. And it made comments on all that. Before the rest of the series just turned into just exploitation,
Let's be honest, that's when this shit got fun. Death Wish 3 is like the greatest movie of all time.
Yeah. The series became just this action hero, Rambo in the hood kind of fans.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of that movie, there was no black or brown person left standing.
Yeah, they're all like punk rockers and shit.
Right.
They all had mohawks and leather jacket and spikes and, fucking with the only old Jewish couple that still lived in the ghetto for some reason.
Fucking move. Why are you here?
Like, what? Yeah, they got a shop. Did they have a shop?
I didn't think they had a shop. They were just there for no reason, And Charles Bronson, and he was just there. Like, if I'm white, if I just stand in the middle of the street, somebody will fuck with me. So I'm going to just stand here and just shoot the fuck out of them when they do.
Yeah, he just shoots people. And he didn't give a shit. I mean, you didn't sit there and ask, oh my God, he shot this poor person. No, he was the bad guy. That's what you do.
Just shoot him and then go get a beer, and that's it,
Yeah, I mean, it's just a nameless, faceless enemy. That's what that's the fantasy.
Yeah.
And I think people these days, oh my God, he does all this violence. But that's what it's for. You don't sit there and question who the fuck, like John Wick kills all these fucking enemies. You don't sit there, oh my God, that man had a family. No, you don't.
Right.
It takes you out of the fantasy.
Right. He's just some scumbag asshole. Shoot him and move on,
Yeah, he's the bad guy. That's what you do. And this is a movie where a hitman who kills bad guys.
Okay, now let me ask
something else.
Let me ask you this. Okay, so how did Bruce Willis learn how to shoot in this movie?
He goes to they do address that. He goes and gets a gun. He goes, to a gun shop, and they even say, oh, don't worry about the paperwork. Everybody passes, So it does emphasize how easy it is to get a gun. And he goes and practices shooting and shit and all that crap. And so, it is like a throwback to the old original movie.
Right, because the old movie, he went to like Arizona and Texas, some shit, and he learned like some real gunslingers,
No, he just goes to a gun shop, owned by rednecks. They're all like white, stereotypical white rednecks with the gun shop, and and then he goes to like this garage. He's like inside this like warehouse, learning how to shoot, practicing shooting and shit. And I mean the violence in it is really brutal, and there is a couple scenes where I like laughed out loud because they were so outrageous and violent.
But I think in a movie like this, especially in Eli Room, that probably was the intended, reaction he wanted you to get for that scene if you laughed at it.
Yeah, I mean that's what it was for. It's like over the top, gory, cartoony violence. It's just I think they tried to make it more deeper than it didn't have to address all that shit, because this is. It's like we say, escapism and art and how we cope with reality. And they didn't have to sit there and try to be deep. Just do what you were going to do. Just go balls out, which is what I wish The Punisher did. The Punisher Netflix series did. I wish they would have just pushed it, all violence, and fuck what everybody thought,
Right. But they had to address the gun violence, and is the Punisher doing the right thing? And maybe he should think twice about it. I don't know. So Like I said, we shit on the Punisher long enough. But I was hoping that Death Wish would be a Punisher movie because Punisher is basically a Death Wish comic, thinking the whole thing would come full circle, but oh well.
Yeah, it was just disappointing. I was a little disappointed in it,
Okay. Oh well. Well, just go watch Death Wish 3 and watch the taste out your mouth. So.
Yeah.
All right. So
yeah.
Like I said, rating. Give me a rating.
Shit. I'll just say 3 out of 5. It's worth the look, but it's
sound like that's where you're going with it. So
yeah.
Okay, number 4. Number 4 is Game Night, the Jason Bateman movie. It's hanging in there. Heard some good things about it. Might even go see it. Don't even know. Did I tell you that I won my sales contest and my boss is taking me to the movies?
Oh, damn. There you go.
We're supposed to go tomorrow. We don't know what we're going to see yet. I'm probably going to talk about Black Panther, but we're thinking between that or Game Night. So we'll see how it goes from there. Annihilation, that Natalie Portman movie, I guess. Yeah, it's hanging in there.
Yeah. I heard that's supposed to be good.
Yeah, and I just keep going. Jumanji still hanging in there. Where's Jumanji at? Jumanji is $928 million right now. So I doubt it's gonna hit $1 billion before it's all said and done. But yeah, it's hanging in there. It's doing pretty good. Number 8, 50 Shades Freed. Yeah, it's in there. Number 9, The Greatest Showman, the Hugh Jackman movie, still hanging in there. And number 10, Every Day. I forgot what is that again?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Anyway. That being said, that's the box office. Now let's go back to the Black Panther numbers. Now, like I said, the Black Panther is still putting up some pretty impressive numbers. Domestically, right now is at 897 million, so it's probably gonna be at 900 million like in a couple days or so. Domestically, it is at 501 million. It's already at $500 million domestically, which means it has passed Age of Ultron as the second highest grossing comic book movie of all time, domestically wise. The only movie left is Avengers. Avengers is at 630. 629. Like I said, all time. But the thing is, in a 17-day span or 18-day span or whatever it is like that, Black Panther is actually outpacing Avengers. I think at this time around, I think Avengers was like at 450 million. I don't think it was at $500 million just yet. So if it keeps at the pace it's going, Black Panther probably will end up being the highest grossing domestic comic book movie of all time. So
that's pretty good.
That's pretty impressive. So it's there. Yeah, like I said, got nothing else to talk about Black Panther, well, at least like number-wise, stuff like that. But I did want to talk something briefly about it, Eli. Like I said, for a lot of people, they just want to just see a comic movie. They just want to saw Black Panther. It was cool, move on. And they're ready for, the next movie to come out. But for the Black community, it is still a huge topic. Like, they just breaking down the certain themes of the movies like that. And it's another theme that actually was brought up that I was waiting for it to come up, but nobody actually brought it up. Now, what I meant is there's this actress called Amandla Stenberg. Maybe fucking the name up, whatever. For those who don't know who she is, she's Rue from the Hunger Games. The 12-year-old that taught Jennifer Lawrence everything about how to survive in the woods. And when she finally showing her how to survive in the woods, she died. Yeah. So, yeah, there's some fucked up shit about that. But anyway, she said, and the thing about it, to give a background on her, this actress is biracial, half black, half white, all the stuff like that. She's a lighter complexion. And she said she was in the running for Black Panther. I guess she's saying she was like in the running, like one of the last people to get the Shuri role. But she said she decided to drop out the Shuri role because she wanted to give the dark-skinned actresses a chance.
So, is that what I saw your tweet about that? And I didn't get what that was. I thought it sounded like a racist white person.
Yeah.
I just remember reading it and going, damn.
Right. So this thing, so it's not anything, a white person saying it like that. It's just a lighter skin complexion. She's black, but she's lighter skinned, and she decided to step away from the role because she wanted to give, like I said, the dark skinned actress a chance. And some people said, she was brave for doing it. Some people said she's grandstanding, making herself look good. Some people saying she's coming off kind of an ass. Some people saying she's being kind of ignorant in the whole situation because they actually are light-skinned Africans in Africa. But it's a whole big situation going on. Like, basically what's going on is that, okay, Eli, remember you told me about Blood Quantum?
Yeah.
Okay, now, like I said, because I'm trying to get your whole interpretation of this whole situation that's going on. Because, like I said, this movie is bringing to light a lot of stuff that we're dealing with. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, blood quantum is based like you got to have so much blood to be qualified as a native.
Yeah, okay. You have to. Yeah, I forget what the numbers are.
Okay.
But yeah, you have to prove, and you have to prove it too. Natives are like the only race that has to prove their blood quantum.
Okay, that's
kind of fucked up.
Yeah, because when you said it, when last time you said it, I was like, "What the fuck is blood quantum?" So I did a quick Google check, like, "Oh, okay, well that makes sense." Well, here's the thing: blood quantum doesn't exist in the black community.
Yeah.
The reason because there's the one drop rule. The one drop rule basically that if you have a drop of black blood and you're black in the slave times, you were a slave. Now, if you didn't have as much, you on the lighter side, you probably would have been in the house, cooking, cleaning, stuff like that. But if you're dark skinned, like I am, you probably would have been in the field. But either way, you would have been a slave either way. So the one drop rule still exists today. That's why, Obama, he's mixed, but he still black. This chick, she's mixed, still black. That being said, there's become some kind of divisive in war, like racism within their own race, which is called colorism. Basically the light-skinned blacks versus the dark-skinned blacks. And it's this thing we don't really like to talk about in the open, but the movie kind of addresses it without addressing it, because if you watch Black Panther, there are no light-skinned black people in that movie. Everybody's dark-skinned. Now, there's not saying, and that kind of makes sense because, like I said, if there was a biracial, actress in the movie, it would make you wonder. Like, this movie is supposed to be about an African nation that had never been colonized by Europeans, so why is one of them half European? It would kind of bring some questions up to that, even though, like I said, there are light-skinned Africans in Africa, stuff like that. But at the same time, there's another issue also. Now, like I said, Eli, we know, like I said, it's hard for a minority actress in Hollywood to get a leading role of any color other than white. Now, but if you're lighter skinned, it's a little bit easier. You have a little bit head start. That's why you see Halle Berry in a lot of these roles, even though she really can't act worth shit. But she's a little bit lighter, so she can land these roles. That's why she's landing Storm, which everybody like. She's completely miscast for that role. But you get but when you try to think of like a dark-skinned black love interest in any movie, you can't find them. Like now it's not the same for the males. Like I said, you got Wesley Snipes, you got Denzel. Fuck, let's just throw Will Smith in there, something like that. You have all these big name black actors, but they're almost never with dark-skinned black women in the movies. They're either going to be with a light-skinned love interest, black, or not even black at all. Should be white, should be Mexican, should be Asian, should be whatever, but it won't even be that. Go watch any Idris Elba movie, you're going to never see it with a dark-skinned woman. So when she drops out of this role, she be saying she's giving a chance for the darker sisters to land a role, which I think, is a pretty good thing. But some people think that she making it seem like she's giving a handout. Like, I'm gonna just stand back and just let you get a role that I can get a role anytime I want to. But it's a problem in Hollywood that should be addressed also. And like I said, the flip side is, like I said, this is a comic book show. It's actually reversed in the comics. Now, for instance, if you read any comic and you see a black person in the comic, notice there are no light-skinned, black-skinned people. Even though in real life you got light-skinned black people of all different shades, in the comics, they're all the exact same shade. War Machine the same color as Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart the same color as Storm. Storm the same color as Black Panther. Luke Cage. Spawn, whatever the fuck you want to put in it, they're all the same color because they're cheap.
Miles Morales.
Now,
he's supposed to be half Puerto Rican and shit.
He's supposed to be half Puerto Rican and as black as fucking Black Panther. Now, how does that make any sense? That's why people are going to be pissed when they make a live act. People are going to be pissed no matter what they do when they make a live action Miles Morales. Because, for instance, he's supposed to be Afro-Latino. That's what he's supposed to be,
Yeah.
But what's going to happen. They're going to pick just the blackest dude they can possibly find, just some dark-skinned dude to play him. And the Latino community is going to get pissed at Miles Morales. Like, what the fuck? I thought he was one of us. So they're going to say it's blackwashing, whatever. But if they make him Afro-Latino and they make him lighter skin, which that's going to be lighter skin, then you're going to have some black people going to get pissed because they're going to think, but he wasn't that light in the comics. There are no light-skinned people in the comics. Everybody is the same fucking shade. So that's why I get kind of mad when I hear this argument about Storm. Like, oh, Storm's supposed to be dark skinned. Why is she light like Halle Berry? Or whatever the fuck that other chick that played in X-Men Apocalypse. Why are they biracial? We're supposed to be this. Like, they never really specified how dark Storm was. Because whenever another color comes in the comics, they'll make her whatever color she wants to be. She might be light, might be dark, whatever. So you can't really make that argument. So yeah, Miles Morales is going to be a touchy situation. Want to see how they handle that.
And then all the white folks are going to be like, damn, these minorities are really racist.
Oh, yeah. That's another thing. That's why it's a topic that Black people in general don't really like to bring up. We like to keep that kind of conversation in the community because, yes, colorism is a real big thing, being dark skinned. I'm 6'2", I'm dark skinned, 200 pounds. I scare white people. I know that. Just walking past.
You're 6'2", holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a short little Italian boy. I'm like 5'8". That's the thing. People think I'm Mexican. I'm not Mexican at all. I'm, half native, half Italian. But because I was like living on the west side of St. Paul, which was like a Mexican neighborhood, everyone just thought, even the Mexicans thought I was Mexican. They speak Spanish to me. I don't know what the fuck they're saying and shit, So, yeah.
So I can understand that, because like I said, I've met a few Native Americans before. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
I mean, it just really is. It's kind of like, are you not? Well, especially now, Hispanics just in general, sometimes can be hard to tell. Like I said, you have dark-skinned Hispanics, Hispanics darker than me, like Sammy Sosa or something,
Yeah.
Well, in the 90s, not Sammy Sosa now, He's lighter than Bill Gates. But yeah, that's the conversation, buddy. So, like I said, we'll see how that whole thing works out with her. I do think she should have probably saved this whole interview she did probably till after the hype of Black Panther dies down, because it does make it seem like that is giving a handout to the darker skinned sisters, but at the same time she is giving awareness that yes, colorism exists in the real world and Hollywood, and that's why another reason people are excited about Black Panther, because they are seeing a lot of dark skinned actors that normally don't get roles like that and don't normally get live acting roles like that. Like Lupita. Lupita is a great actress, beautiful actress. You almost never see her in a leading role, like as a love interest. Like just never see that.
She's an alien. Yeah,
oh yeah, she'll be in Star Wars as with some short little alien, but she can't actually be herself. So.
And that's what I like, and I mentioned it when we did our review. One of my favorite scenes is Michonne. What's her character's name? I can't remember.
I don't know. The general. We just call her
Okoye or Koye or whatever.
Yeah.
Where she took off the wig. that whole wig thing. It was like it was such a statement on, like I said, the Western standard of beauty. Where she just this thing's so stupid and she pulls it off and then throws it. And so that's what I liked about it.
It was quick, but it was effective, and it got the point across. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just the thing about Black Panther is that it's showing. I mean, and the numbers, the money that it's making is that it's showing that representation matters, and people want to see these stories.
Right. I mean, some people are mad that yes, Marvel did kind of make a movie catered to a certain audience. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That audience been waiting for a movie like that. So
yeah.
So yeah, I like it, but that's like I said, we'll see where it goes. We're probably gonna keep talking about Black Panther further on down the podcast and week after week when we seeing how these numbers go. Numbers fade away. Fuck, we'll move on to something else. Because guess what, Eli? Something else happened. Oh, you like this segue, don't you? Because apparently Robert Downey Jr. had a conversation on Twitter with Marvel Studios. And he asked them, why don't they move up, Infinity War, to give, Han Solo and some other movies in May breathing room. And Marvel said, you know what? Yeah, we should do it. So when they did it, they went ahead and announced the Marvel Infinity War for April 27th. So if you guys had May locked into your mind, you need to back it up one more week. And thank Robert Downey Jr. for that, because now we have basically Infinity War coming in next month.
Yeah,
that's insane when you think about it. Like, whoa! I thought I had time, to prepare. Yeah. Now it made me think like, damn, should I buy my ticket now? So, but yeah, that's a big thing. But here's the thing, Eli, and I don't want to talk about Infinity War too long. But what do you think is going to make more money at the box office, Infinity War or Black Panther?
Oh shit. I think Black Panther will I think because of the cultural thing and the impact, I think it'll probably make more. And Avengers will make money regardless. But we've seen, like, this is the 20th Marvel flick now. I mean, we've seen it. No matter what happens, we've seen Civil War. We've seen Age of Ultron. We've seen these things. I mean, there's so many coming out every year. I think Black Panther will take it.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing about that is that.
Plus, this is the first one. This is like part one of an Infinity War.
Right, because you got another one coming also. And here's my thing about that. Like, I had an argument with somebody online about that, saying that, oh no, Infinity War, if Black Panther's doing this, Infinity War is definitely going to beat. I'm like, no, it's not. I'll tell you why. Because the thing is, with Black Panther for a lot of people was their first Marvel movie. Like I said, they made 18, 20 of these things. That's their first one. So obviously they doesn't care about all the other shit. Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man. They don't give a shit. They just wanted to see Black Panther because Black Panther was able to tap into a market that aren't into these comic book movies. I have aunts that watch this movie that don't like these movies. They went and saw that movie. Infinity War is not going to do that. If you haven't watched all 20 of these movies and stuff like that, you're not going to get excited for Infinity War. Like, if you don't know what the fucking Infinity Stone is, you're not going to care. Like, this is for us that have been
the first appearance their first appearance of Thanos, who's like that hasn't shown up in 10 years,
right? Or if you never heard of Thanos before, then you're not gonna care, You're not gonna have you're not gonna have people renting out an entire theater just to watch Infinity War, or raising money to send kids to go see Infinity War, or you're not gonna have just regular people that don't show up at these movies cosplaying to go see these movies. You're not going to have the same cultural impact because, like I said, Infinity War, at the end of the day, it's another superhero movie. Now, Black Panther is too. Don't get me wrong. Black Panther is another superhero movie also. But like I said, it's a certain market. The hype that was built around it was able to capture people that aren't into these movies, where I don't see Infinity War doing the same thing. Like I said, it's gonna do $1 billion easily. Like, that's not even going to be an issue with it. But I don't see it just typing into the culture zeitgeist is going to get people. It's not going to get people that aren't into these movies. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's why and to be honest with you, I don't think Infinity War is going to beat Avengers. Like, screw Black Panther. I don't think it's going to beat Avengers. Because, like I said, Avengers was something we've never seen before.
Yeah.
This is just in Avengers movie, this is the third Avengers movie, not counting the 20 other Marvel movies we've seen it, but somebody else brought up the point. Well, doesn't Infinity War have Black Panther in it? Isn't it in Wakanda? Don't the people that saw Black Panther will want to see the continued adventures of it? Like, no, they're not. What? Well, if you saw Black Panther and you didn't see Infinity War because there's no black people in it, well, you're racist. I'm like, wait, what? Where the fuck we go with that? I don't think people are racist if they don't see a movie because it's not just all black people in it. Because yes, Black Panther is 90% black people. That black people did decide to see that. Infinity War is not going to be 90% black people, so some people just not going to care. But that doesn't make them racist. That just means they just don't want to see the movie. Like I said, there's plenty of white people that haven't seen Friday. One of my favorite comedies of all time. Yeah. Now, if I ask a white person, have they seen Friday, and they say, no, I'm not going to call them a racist. I'm just going to say, hey, it just wasn't your movie. Just move on from that. I give you another example. I give you another example. Okay, you got Martin and Friends. Okay. Now, they're the same TV show. They're the same show. The same character, do the same shit and everything like that. But you ask a black person what their favorite show, they're going to say Martin. You ask a white person favorite show, they're going to say Friends. 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, something like that. But that doesn't make, if the other person hasn't seen the show, racist. People just have different tastes. That's all. These comic book movies aren't for everybody. Black Panther was just a movie that attracted non-comic book fans. So that's why it's going to stand out. Where Infinity War is just, if you're into this comic book shit, you're going to be into this. So that's all I can say. But yeah.
This just reminded me of a funny story. One time I was at Blockbuster. Back in the day, obviously.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Rest in peace, Blockbuster. Yeah,
for those who don't know what Blockbuster is,
we used to go rent
movies.
Right.
Yeah, we used to go rent movies, rent DVDs, or this might have been VHS.
VHS, right?
But anyways, I was in line at Blockbuster, and some white kid was in front of me, and the clerk was a black dude, and he rang up the white kid's movies, and he's, hey, check it out, this white boy is renting Undercover Brother, and like made it and put him on the spot. And it was just funny. So I don't know, it had nothing to do with anything we're talking about. I just thought that was funny.
Oh man, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, but like I said, everybody has their own taste. So now, Eli, can we talk about something depressing?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's talk about DC Comics. Well, DC in general.
The movies, yeah.
The movies, the DCEU movies. Yeah, let's talk about them because, like I said, they're always having. Normally, we always like to shit on them on this podcast, but now I actually feel bad for them. The reason I feel bad for them because, like I said, Time Warner, which owns Warner Brothers and DC and all the stuff like that, Time Warner is in a acquisition where they're about to be bought by AT&T. AT&T is trying to buy out Time Warner and everything associated with Time Warner. The problem is the government is trying to step in to stop it. You know, why they stopping that but not doing anything with Disney and Fox, I have no idea. But anyway, they don't know if that AT&T and Warner Brothers deal is going to go, Time Warner deal is going to go through. Thing is, Time Warner is saying that if the deal doesn't go through, they're going to have to sell off pieces of their empire. HBO is going to go over here. TNT is going to go over here. Warner Brothers is going to go over here. DC might go over there. So they might actually have to sell off bits and pieces of it, you know, to keep what they're doing. So if this AT&T deal doesn't go through, DC might be up for grabs. So
yeah.
Like anybody could just snatch it up and just do it from there. And I kind of feel bad for them because it made me wonder, like, man, are the movies, and I know people like to shit on the movies, but I don't think they're the worst thing. Like I said, that fan four stick shit was fucking terrible. But it makes me thinking, are the DCEU movies bringing down the overall stock of DC? Like, is it making it less valuable, you know, to the market, to the stock market? Like, and just, you know, is it making harder sales? Or is it making it Warner Brothers seem like, you know what? We really don't have a need for this shit. I mean, like I said, they lost their ass with Justice League. Let's be honest. The comics aren't making the money. Comics aren't making anybody money nowadays. I know it's a comic book podcast, but these companies are not making their money on comics. They're not. No. So it makes
Hence why Marvel comics suck.
Right. They don't give a shit, you know. They don't care who buys this shit, you know.
How many reboots and how many years do they fucking
right?
Keep rebooting their universe every fucking 6 months.
Right, and
they're gonna do it again this summer again.
Exactly, another number one for everything. There you go again, Marvel. But the thing is, Marvel has the movies to fall back on. Like one movie Black Panther's gonna make more money by itself than Marvel's entire comic line. You know, probably in the last 2 years. But can DC say the same thing? Like I said, they lost their ass on Justice League. The comic industry is, you know, really hurting right now, so they can't depend on that for income. So what is DC worth? That's the thing. Not Warner Brothers, not Time Warner. DC itself. It kind of makes you wonder, especially since they're a good bit behind in the comic sales as far as Marvel. So this hurts, Eli. I'd hate to, you know, see somebody snatch them up like Valiant or some shit, you know. And then people get saying, "Oh yeah, well Disney's gonna swoop in and buy DC." Like, no, they're not. They're not gonna do that. The reason they're not gonna do it because of the exact same reason I just said it. What is DC worth to them? Nothing, because they already have Marvel. Why would you buy another comic company that does the same shit your other comic company already has? Like, and especially since
we could have Batman fight Spider-Man in a movie.
That's why I hate these fucking fanboys, man. Remember that amalgam universe or some shit with Batman and Wolverine were combined and shit?
Vaguely.
Okay, it was some shit in the 90s, but like that. But some fans start forgetting, oh, we could have that back. We could have Dark Claw, you know, and like nobody wants to see that shit. That shit didn't sell when it did happen. Nobody cares about that shit, man. Just like DC, like Marvel is not going to buy DC because DC isn't worth anything to Marvel. They already had Marvel could put out a Squadron Supreme movie right now, and it would make more money than Justice League made. with no setup, anything, just drop it. And Squadron Supreme is just Marvel's version of Justice League. That's all it is. So that's why they don't need to buy DC. So DC just gonna float out there by itself. And I'll be honest with you, Eli. I think even Batman's, stock is going down a little bit. He's still their bread and butter. Don't get me wrong.
Well, they shove him in everything because he knows that's what people like.
And that's the thing. I'm starting to think that I feel like, me personally, I feel like Batman is starting to become oversaturated because DC knows that's all they have. That's the only bullet they have in the chamber. So they're just shooting at every chance they get. And after a while, and it was cool 10 years ago, when Christopher Nolan was doing this shit. But after 10 years, something like that, and you got movie flop after movie flop, and nothing else is really going on with Batman around that time. It's just like, okay, you're not really doing anything else. Especially you get these 3 Batman cartoons a year from Warner Brothers, and they're not doing anything else. It's like, okay, look, I'm sick. And look, this is like the last 2 years, like the first year of these DC cartoons they're making that I hadn't even bothered to watch. I'm just like, hey, you're putting out too much of this shit. I don't even care anymore, So that's how I feel about that. So hopefully DC can, do something. I don't want DC to break up, because I want DC to stay intact. That DC is my childhood. I don't want them to be like, oh well, fuck it, this shit ain't even worth it. Let's just cancel this shit all together. I want to keep going from there. Last but not least, okay, we can talk about something else. One more thing we're gonna talk about DC. Wonder Woman 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Wonder Woman 2. They finally have announced that they have a villain. Their villain's gonna be Cheetah. You remember Cheetah from the Legion of Doom. She was the sexy cat chick and shit like that. And you think that would be easy casting. Just get a hot chick. Put him in a furry cat suit. That's 2 of my fetishes right there. And then you call it a day, get a hot chick rolling around with Gal Gadot. Somebody just gets a bucket of Jello, spread on them, stuff like that. So I'm thinking it'd be easy. And then they announced who they wanted, and they said Kristen Wiig. And I'm like, what? The Saturday Night Live comedian? I guess. I mean, Eli, I'm thinking this would be a layup. I'm thinking this would be easy. Remember that Azilis Gonzalez chick or whatever? I want to see her.
The Oscar chick that just
the Oscar chick I just saw last night and fell in love with. Yeah, I like put her in a furry cat suit and take my money. But no, they went and got Kristen Wiig, and I'm like,
now, you remember this is Wonder Woman now, directed by women, and the women.
That's true.
The chicks have taken over Wonder Woman.
Right. So, now, if this was Michael Bay, it'd be Megan Fox in a cat suit, running around and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
see what happens when men make movies.
Cheetah's gonna be pregnant and shit.
This misogynistic, sexist, male-dominated entertainment. Yeah, that's what. We know what we want to see.
Right. That's what we want to see, but.
Yeah.
Oh well, but
I'm tired of being objectified.
Right. Okay, but at the same,
people want to fuck me, and I'm so tired of it.
So I know we're gonna get a lot of scratch, but maybe we won't. I don't know. Who cares? But yeah, I get it. Okay, maybe Kristen Wiig will be a convincing Cheetah. Maybe. My thing is, this is just DC being DC all over again. Why do they do all this off the wall left field casting with DC? Why don't they just pick somebody that makes sense? Look at the shit Marvel does. Like I said, they picked Chadwick Boseman Black Panther. Fits. They picked Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. It made sense. That chick is Captain Marvel, whatever her name is, Brie something. Okay, it made sense. I'm like, I don't know what that movie's gonna be good in or not, but at least when they cast, I'm like, okay. Cool casting, but with
white bald lady as the Ancient One, yeah.
Okay, they not all, but at least when they. Okay, I got nothing for that one. They can't all be winners. But the thing is, DC does this off the wall shit like Ben Affleck as Batman. Now I like Ben Affleck as Batman, but at the same time, when you heard that cast, you're like, wait, what the fuck? Like, no, this got to be a joke. Like, no, it's serious, Or, they'll do, okay, like, for instance, everybody always want to bring it up. Well, what about Heath Ledger? Heath Ledger was awesome as Joker. You should give everybody a chance. Like, That was like a one-off fucking deal, and that was 10 years ago. Stop bringing that bullshit up.
And people bitched about that when they first heard it.
People bitched about that when they first heard it. Right. And it was off-the-wall casting, but, it went with that. But the thing is, you got these off-the-wall casting like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Everybody from the very beginning said that was an off-the-wall casting. That was bad casting. He was miscast. And when you saw the movie, he was the worst movie villain you've ever seen in your life. So everything that we said don't do, DC turned around and did it. And then when we told you so, you turn around and do this shit again. So none of this shit makes any sense. So yeah, you're doing Cheetah should have been easy. It should have been easy.
At least, yeah, and I get what you're saying. It's like at least, I mean, I haven't seen Christina. Yeah, Christina Wiggs. I mean, she's not ugly,
she's not ugly.
She's a comedian.
You're right.
Yeah, she's a comedian. I haven't seen her do action scenes. I mean, they could have got Charlize Theron,
right?
Who's kick ass and she's hot and she can kick ass.
I wanted.
She's got all these action
that
roles
mummy
and shit.
chick. Remember that mummy chick?
Oh, the chick from the Kingsman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been my choice. Like I know we nerds always love to do this shit. Every time we hear a movie role, who I would have fan casted as that. I get it. I'm not a Hollywood executive or anything like that. But that would have been my choice,
And because she's a minority, we got the race card. Now we're not so we're not sexist. You're being racist.
Now, Eli, I am so glad they picked a white woman for Cheetah. I am so glad about this shit. Because I am so fucking sick of aliens, mutants, monsters, all this shit being minorities, ethnic, black people, stuff like that. Like, we don't have to be that shit all the time. Like, we get it. You can have a white person play that shit sometimes, too. Just so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wonder Woman 2. Next year. Or something. I don't know when it comes out. We'll know when we see it. Like I said, we see the trailer. I might be completely convinced on it. Last thing we want to move on before we actually get to the bread and butter. Let's talk about video games for a second, Eli. We can talk about video games in a second. And I want to talk about Metal Gear Survive. Have you played Metal Gear Survive yet?
I have not. I haven't played Metal Gear since that one way back in the day.
Man, that was like over 20 years ago.
Metal Gear Solid or whatever it was.
That
old ass one.
Yeah, like 96 or some shit.
Where he said something, mid-90s, when he said at the end of the game, he said, "My name's Dave."
Okay, I remember that part. Maybe that's an alternate ending I didn't get to, anything like that.
My name's Dave.
But the reason I want to talk about Metal Gear Survive,
Snake, a.k.a. Dave. Yeah.
They've never mentioned Dave before again, and I played all those damn games, but I've never heard Dave again. But maybe you would type your name in or something like that and just put it in. But anyway, this Metal Gear Survive game, it's a new game. It's a Metal Gear zombie game. Apparently, it is getting the worst scores of any Metal Gear game ever because the game is complete dog shit. The guy that made the game, other Metal Gear games, got fired from Konami. So they got some random dude that just take the same engine that he used in the same games and make a zombie game because they just think the shit will sell. Not only they're doing that, but they're charging you for save slots. So if you want to save the game locally on they charge you 10.
What the fuck?
Right.
Seriously?
Yes.
Fucking Metal Gear?
Right.
What the fuck?
Yes,
this is smart.
Bro, this game has been getting so much shit. And people are defending this game for no fucking reason. See, Eli, this is why I hate brand loyalty. See, people are buying this game because of brand loyalty. Look, I played every Metal Gear games before this shit. Love them all. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater is my favorite video game of all time. Like, I would play that shit all day and not think twice about it. Yeah. So, but at the same time, I'm not blinded to just, I'm just going to just buy everything that just says Metal Gear on it, whether it's a piece of shit or not, just so I can be a completist. I'm not that guy. I have to look at it and see. I can tell bullshit when I see bullshit. I can tell when corporate America slaps a brand name that people like on a box of shit and sell it to you. And that's exactly what they're doing here. And it's not the first time they've done stuff like this. So people need to quit defending this game, saying, "Oh, well, you haven't played it. How can you criticize it?" I don't have to play every fucking thing to know whether it's shit or not. This is 2018. I can go on Twitch. I can go on YouTube. I can do share play. I can find out whether or not a game is shit or not. This ain't back in the 1980s when we had Nintendo, and the only thing you knew was look at the damn box, and tell whether or not the game was good. Oh, Bayou Billy looks good because of the art cover. Game fucking sucks when you fucking get it. No, this is not that. So I know shit when I see it from a mile away. And if you're in 2018 and you can't tell, I don't know what to say. You need to do more research. That's all I can say from that. So
hey, I just looked it up. I just Googled it. Solid Snake, real name, David.
He's a clone. How does he have a real name?
Also known as Old Snake, and briefly known as Iroquois Pliskin?
Yeah, Iroquois. Iroquois is a snake, right?
Yeah. Iroquois is a native tribe.
Right, I know it's native, so it's native, but it's a snake, I guess, in that area or something?
Iroquois Pliskin. I don't know.
Something like that. But
is that what it was?
But you know where Pliskin comes from, right?
Yeah, that's from Escape from New York. Snake Plissken.
Exactly, yeah. What, that guy name was Snake?
That's just David. David.
Oh, so the guy Escape from New York, Kurt Russell's name was Snake Plissken.
Yeah, that was his name in Escape from New York. Yeah,
I knew it was something related like that. Okay, cool. Something else I'm gonna say about Snake Plissken. Oh, the guy that voices him is named David. David Hayter. David Hayter. That's his name.
Oh, really?
He wrote the first X-Men movie.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought it was the guy who did Spike's voice in Cowboy Bebop. Maybe I don't know. He sounded like that common anime voice that I would hear in multiple animes. I don't know. It's been so long.
They all sound the same. Who knows? Is that racist? I don't know.
My name's Dave. I just remember that.
Yeah. Oh, and then they fired him on the last game so they could put Kiefer Sutherland in the voice Snake.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Actually, it sounded pretty good, but I kept hearing 24. I watched 24 so much that that's all I heard. So it kept taking me out of the game. I don't know.
Or the Lost Boys?
Yeah. Or Phone Booth. Hey, he was the voice in Phone Booth.
Do it, Michael. Do it, Michael.
But you want to say somebody has an awesome voice. Kiefer Sutherland has an awesome voice, but it just, you hear Kiefer Sutherland. That's all. So
yeah.
Designated Survivor. I'm going to eventually watch that, but oh well, whatever. That being said, can we move on to the bread and butter of the podcast?
Yeah.
Well, we eventually got there. We finally got there. Okay, so we're the comic book bullies. We're going to talk about the bread and butter podcast, which is actually comic books. We actually did read some comic books this week. Yay us. So that being said, we're going to start off with some books. Eli told me what he had before the podcast started. Like I said, I forgot. So I'm going to let Eli go first and review one of his books, whichever one he want to go with first.
Well, I got a bunch of DC. I didn't read any Marvel, so.
Hell yeah, fuck Marvel.
I guess I'll start out with The Silencer, #2.
Okay, because I reviewed the first one, so I'm interested to see what the second one is like.
Yeah, I went. Yeah, based on your review, I went and read it, and I thought it was pretty cool that I went and read the second one. The second one starts out. Action packed. There's like a big long action scene. She's taking on some villain from the what's it called? Where's she from? The Underdark or Underworld or Under something, right. Underpants Society or whatever the fuck. She's some secret offshoot of the League of Assassins because Talia al Ghul was involved. So she's fighting off this enemy and she kicks his ass and then has to go in and because she's got that power of the silence. She can quiet everything down and, so people can't hear what's going on because this took place right in her, like right in front of her house,
mm-hmm.
And she lives like in a suburban neighborhood and shit. So it shows her balancing the life, kind of like the Spider-Man scenario where you're balancing the superhero ass kicking with the regular everyday home life. And that's what she has. She has this family that she's trying to raise a kid and a husband, and that's the life she wants. She's trying to quit this old, Kill Bill lifestyle that she once had,
mm-hmm.
and move on with and just move on and raise her family. So she ends up getting a hold of the head of that organization. I can't remember what the fuck it's called, and she goes to meet him and saying, "Hey, I'm out. I don't want anything to do with this. I don't. And he's like, well, we're just looking for Talia al Ghul. Just tell her where she is and everything's good. She's I don't know where the fuck she is. So they just have this back and forth. I want out. I don't want to do this shit anymore. I got a family. I'm moving on. And then all of a sudden, at the end of the comic, he goes, okay, well, since you ain't telling us shit, we're gonna have to do this the hard way. And then he fucking unstealth, he says, and all of a sudden, all these like soldiers, appeared in behind them. They were like in the stealth mode. They were like,
so they were there the whole time, right? Okay.
Yeah, and they all got their guns drawn on her. So that's how it ends. But it's definitely like the whole Kill Bill. What's that? Long Kiss Goodnight.
Right.
Type of feel. There's like a John Wick type scene
kind of like
where she goes.
Salt 2 also. Kind of remind me of Salt 2.
Yeah, that I never read. Yeah, or I never saw. But yeah, there's like a John Wick type scene where she goes to like this empty warehouse. That's this abandoned part of town. It turns out it has all the supplies of this organization. They got guns and tanks and all this shit inside this like abandoned warehouse. That's where she meets that guy. But this was pretty cool. I mean, I'm into it. I give it a 4 out of 5. It's I know you're not a John Romita Jr. fan, but hey, he's draws better than I do.
Your
description, draws better than me.
Your description made me think of a much better artist till you said John Romita Jr. Then it's like, oh shit, no. It's not bad. I mean, it's cool. I have no problem with it. Like I said, I can't draw this well, so. But I understand why. I understand what you're saying. I think when he really tries to do well, he does very well. Sometimes I do think, he's kind of half-assed sometimes, but yeah, I mean, we know why they hire him because he always makes his deadlines. We get that.
But yeah, I mean, I'm into this. I'm kind of into this story. Everyone was telling me it was kind of like The Punisher, and I'm like, not really.
Yeah, it's nothing like The Punisher.
She's got like this superpower, and you know what it reminded me of?
What's that?
It was Martha Washington. I don't know if you ever read Martha Washington.
That was a Frank Miller story, right?
Frank Miller and the guy who drew The Watchmen. What's his name? Gibbons.
Gibbons, yeah.
Dave Gibbons. Yeah, Dave Gibbons. If for anyone who hasn't read Martha Washington, check it out. It's a really cool futuristic tale about this little black girl who becomes this soldier in this fucked up fascist future of America with civil wars and it's a great comic. Especially it's a black character for it's Black History Month. Oh shit, we just missed it. It's not Black History Month anymore. I could have brought this up a couple weeks ago.
That's okay. I celebrate Black History all year. So
yeah, but yeah, Martha Washington. That's what it reminded me of. She kind of looks like this silencer. What's her name? Honor. She kind of looks like she has a Martha Washington kind of look to her.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that was Silencer number 2.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
Okay, so like I said, we're going to keep going with the DC trend. I read one DC book this week, and it's also part of the New Age hero line that Eli was talking about. And this book is The Terrifics. The Terrifics number 1, the book I've been waiting for the longest. Out of all of these, this is the one I've been the most excited for. So basically how The Terrifics start off is that Mr. Terrific shows back up. He shows up to Simon Stagg's like house or castle or mansion, whatever like that, because basically while he was off in space doing the dark metal bullshit or whatever, Simon Stagg bought his company. So he didn't come there to argue about his company. He wanted to know why Simon Stagg messing with one of his inventions that he made. So he goes in to find out, because obviously if he's messing with one of his inventions, he don't know what he's doing. He might screw up some stuff in reality. So he goes in there and finds Simon Stagg screwed around with the dark multiverse. The same shit that they were trying to stop in Dark Knight Metal. He reopened a portal to it. They were like, shut this shit down. And then he opens it and he sees Metamorpho. Metamorpho is in between the Dark Universe, and apparently Simon Stagg has sent him into the Dark Universe to find out more stuff about it. And Mr. Terrific like, okay, we need to stop this down right now. So he pulls out this red egg out of his pocket and throws the red egg at Metamorpho. But what happens is that Metamorpho ends up grabbing Mr. Terrific and the red egg, and they all go into the Dark Universe, and they close back up, and now they're back into the Dark Universe all over again. So now you got this red egg, you got Mr. Terrific, and you got Metamorpho flying through the air, and then Mr. Terrific says, wake up, save us, and then the red egg turns into Plastic Man. Plastic Man wakes up like, oh, what the fuck going on? You know, and then he grabs Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific and eats them. Well, not eats them, but he puts them into his mouth, you know, while they're flying through space and stuff like that. And Plastic Man is like, what the hell happened to me? He was like, well, the dark universe, like, for some reason, put you in a suspended animation, but now that you're back in the dark universe, it woke you back up. Like, okay, so how long I've been out? Like a couple years? You've been in the Batcave for a long time. Batman doing experiments on you. Like, what the fuck? You know, anyway. So they finally land on this. They think it's this planet, stuff like that. So they walk around like, hey, we land on this planet. Metamorpho turns into metal, so the dark universe can't affect them. Mr. Terrific puts some kind of force field on him because he like super science and shit like that. So they walk around the planet, and then they feel the planet like, uh-oh, this is no planet. So Plastic Man stretches himself all out into space at the outside of the planet to look what's going on, and they're standing on this giant dead dude, which kind of looks like Galactus a little bit, but we're not going to talk about that. So he goes back there, and while they go back to, and when he comes back, the three of them are getting attacked by these cockroaches. The cockroaches all fighting them, and they're fighting them and stuff like that. And then they hear this voice, this female voice says, "Stop!" And then it turns around, and it's this invisible girl. The invisible girl is named Phantom Girl, and she says, on my planet, everybody can turn invisible. For some reason, I haven't been able to turn tangible. But now I can go back and forth for some reason in this dark multiverse. So I told the cockroach to stop. They're not going to attack you anymore. But we need to find a way off this planet, which they still think is a planet. And Mr. Terrific says, what about this spaceship over there? And he goes to the spaceship. And the invisible girl keeps telling them, well, I've been trying to hack this spaceship for like years and I haven't been able to do anything. We're like, well, because you're not me. You know, that's what Rebecca said, because you're not terrific. So he does his science mumbo jumbo bullshit, hacks into the spaceship, gets the spaceship turned on. And there's this, you know, like this big muscular dude, you know, look like some kind of 1930s, you know, pulp hero. And he says, my name is Tom Strong. And if you hear this message, I must be dead. It is up to you to save the universe. And that's how the book ends. So, yeah, it's the most Fantastic Four ripoff you can possibly think of, basically. It's all Fantastic Four. But the thing is, they're missing one key element. The Fantastic Four are family. So it's this family journey when they're going out in space and stuff like that. These are just four dudes. Well, three dudes and a chick. They're just kind of just hanging around each other like that. So maybe they'll get to know each other. Right now, they just feel like they're just thrown in together and just on these adventures. So I'm kind of missing that aspect element, because honestly, out of these, I don't give a shit about any of these characters. You know, I don't give a shit about Mr. Terrific. I know he's black. I don't give a fuck. You know, Invisible Girl, whatever like that. I can't remember her name. You know, Metamorpho, never gave a fuck about him. Plastic Man, I'm kind of whatever about him. But overall, I give the book a 3.5. I give it 3.5 out of 5 because it was a fun adventure. It just that the adventure is cool, but the people going on the adventure, I don't give a shit about. You know, that's all. So,
cool. I guess I'll move on to Mira, Queen of Atlantis, #1 from DC. Dan Abnett still writing the Aquaman adventures. Lan Medina and Richard Friend on art. This book was okay. It's a lot of redundant kind of recapping what's been going on in the Aquaman comics lately. Basically, Mira, she's been infected by this magic. She's kind of on the surface world while she's on resting. She's supposed to be resting while Aquaman wages this war down in Atlantis, taking over King Wrath. And Mira is recovering because she has been crowned queen. Once Aquaman kicks Wrath's ass off the throne, Queen Mira is supposed to become queen, supposed to rule Atlantis after that. So we get a lot of recapping. So it's a lot of it's just kind of redundant and repetitive. She's supposed to be resting because she's got infected with magic, and she's not at her full power. She can't do her aquakinesis or any of that shit, and she gets attacked by some villain known as the Eel, which I guess is from Gotham. I never knew that. So they have this fight. She manages to kick his ass because she's Mira, and and the Justice League show up, and they're just kind of wondering what's going on and what's she doing, and can we help Arthur? And she's like, no, this is a problem that Atlantis must solve on their own. And then of course there's like the the senator is like, she's talks to a senator who's like, wondering, hey, I hope this war doesn't, bleed out onto the surface world because we know what happened last time and all that shit. And it's just basically Mira being a diplomat, trying to, smooth everything over, between the ocean world and the surface world. And then at the end, it is revealed that Orm, what's his face, Ocean Master, is he's living somewhere on Earth on the surface world. He's got a family.
What?
So,
okay.
Yeah. So So there's some. Obviously, he's going to be meeting up with Mira at some point. And who knows
does he remember himself? Because I thought he hated the surface world.
Yeah, well, he's been banished there, and he's got like a stepson and a wife, and he's telling at the beginning, it's showing him telling all these stories about Atlantis and all the adventures of sea monsters and shit, and so it's just showing him, being a human, like a human father or whatever, and just getting on with his life, and then he hears on the news about what happened, with Mira. Mira is. Mira has appeared at what's the Bay, what's Amnesty Bay or whatever, and so that's what makes him remember everything. And he's just like, oh yeah, I used to be the king of Atlantis, all that shit. So I mean, the book was okay. Like I said, it was a little redundant. The art is still awesome. I give it a 3 out of 5. This is obviously just set up and just a side story to what's going on in the Aquaman series. So.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, are they written by the same guy?
Yeah, Daniel Abnett.
Okay. A lot of time when these books are written by the same guy, it's gonna be, they're gonna bleed into each other eventually. So pretty cool. All right. Next I can talk. Okay, so the book I'm gonna talk about next is can't remember the name of it. Basically, Marvel's Infinity Prelude #2. So for anybody that's been keeping up, like I said, this is supposed to be one of those prequel comics to the actual Infinity War movie. Like I said, they've already had part 1 where they talked about Winter Soldier and Shuri and stuff like that. So part 2 goes deeper into it. It's supposed to lead up to Infinity War, which comes out next month. So what happens in the book? Doctor Strange is meditating. He's doing his whatever. Wong comes in and interrupts his meditation. Now, of course, in the Marvel universe, in the movie universe, Wong is not his butler. Just guys and cleans up and is cooking shit like that. Wong has just as much rank as Doctor Strange does because, Doctor Strange runs the New York Sanctorium. Wong runs the Chinese Sanctorium. Now, we all know they did that to Panda to China, but whatever. Like I said, he tells them, okay, so you got the Time Stone. You know about the Infinity Stones, right? Yeah. Well, do you know about the other Infinity Stones? He's like, nah. So they go through a whole thing about what happened to the other Infinity Stones. You got the... Okay, because you have the Time Stone, but what happens if somebody evil gets their hands on these Infinity Stones? Take, for example, the Space Stone. Now, back in World War II, this insane Nazi named Johann Schmidt got his hands on it, who we know is the Red Skull. We know what happened with that one. Go watch Captain America, whatever. Then, of course, after that, not only did it come back, another guy got his hands on the same Space Stone, and he also has another Mind Stone, which is Loki. Evil, crazy ass Loki had his hands on 2 Infinity Stones at the same time and almost came very, very, very close to conquering the Earth. Then there's this other stone called, what's the other one? Oh yeah, then he was talking about the what was that? The Reality Stone, which thankfully Thor was able to stop that one, and he had it shipped off into space. Maybe it's with Asgard. Wong doesn't really know. He just knows it's not on Earth, anything like that. And then he says the last stone is the Power Stone. He says the Power Stone, thankfully, it's not on Earth, because we, as the mystics of masters of mysticism or whatever the fuck they call themselves, we're only concerned about Earth safety. So anything that happens outside in space or whatever like that, that's not our problem. So if some evil dude gets their hands on the Power Stone in another galaxy, hopefully somebody can guard that galaxy. Maybe a guardian. They didn't say that. I'm just making that shit up. But anyway, they talk about Guardians of the Galaxy with Ronan and shit like that. So yeah, he said that's all. And then Dr. Strange say, wait a minute. You said there's one more Infinity. You said there was 6 Infinity Stones. You told me 5. And before Wong could think, he's like, wait a minute. We got an alert. And then he looks out his like magic mirror and stuff like that, and he sees Loki and Thor. Thor has his umbrella, Loki is standing around the black suit. Basically the scene from Thor Ragnarok. You were like, okay. Now if they're on Earth, and we've known Loki had his hands on 2 Infinity Stones and almost conquered the Earth, and we need to protect the Earth from the Infinity Stones, we need to find out what the fuck they're doing here. You're like, I'm on it. And then Doctor Strange does his thing, teleports in the Sanctorium, blah, blah, blah. He asks Thor, why the fuck are you here? He like, looking for my dad. You're like, if I get you to your dad, you get the fuck off my planet? You're like, sure, great. Let's get you the fuck out of here. So that's the whole backstory of that. Basically, they're trying to make sure that anything related to Infinity Stones get the fuck off Earth. That's why they're trying to get these Asgardians off there. So he sends, he knows where Odin is. He sends the Asgardians to Odin, and you're like, so did they find a father? Yeah, but I don't know what happened after that. They don't know. They haven't seen Thor Ragnarok, so they don't know. And so that's good, because we need to make sure that if anybody get their hands on all of the 5 stones at one time, we're going to have a war this universe has never seen before. And then they just show a picture of Thanos, clenching the Infinity Gauntlet in his hand, but it's all empty right now, and that's how the book ends. So, yeah, cool. It's pretty much a throwaway issue. It's nothing necessary that you have to read. It is a cool, gives you a little more insight of why Thor, like Doctor Strange was so interested in Thor, in Thor Ragnarok, but, it's just some cool shit, and they did a whole lot of recap and stuff we already knew. Overall, give the book 3 out of 5. It was cool, fun reading, but it's nothing that you have to read. It's not necessary reading in order to understand, what's happening in Infinity War. So, yeah.
All right, cool. Cool. Rating? Did you give it a rating?
Yeah, 3 out of 5.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, I got another one from DC, Batman and Wonder Woman, The Brave and the Bold. This one's kind of weird. It's very wordy. It's basically the fairy realm is needs some help from Batman and Wonder Woman.
Wait, is that politically correct?
Fairy? Well, this is like Celtic, Irish mythology. So
okay,
this god of fertility and the hunt named Sarunos. He looks like this big giant ogre dude.
Okay.
And he comes over to get right in the middle of while Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman are fucking. So he kind of interrupts
wow, okay.
their smash session to tell, hey, we need your help.
Yeah, I mean,
and also at the same time,
he could break Wonder Woman's concentration and snap it right off,
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is a god. I must, she knows who he is, and I will accompany you." And at the same time, Bruce Wayne is sensing some weird shit going on in Gotham, where people are just kind of frozen on the street. They're kind of like in this trance. So he thinks it's the Scarecrow, but it isn't really. But anyways, in this weird Turnanog or whatever, this realm of fairies and elves and shit. Wonder Woman, this god takes Wonder Woman there because some king has been murdered. So they're trying to find out who murdered this king over there. And that's pretty much what it is. It's just the setup establishing these worlds and shit and the situation. Very wordy, a lot of exposition, kind of explaining this realm and all that and the gods and shit. But the art is amazing. This Liam Sharp and Romulo Fajardo Jr. The art alone is worth it. This is just amazing looking. The way it's just really nice to look at. Very fantasy like, especially when they go to the realm, the fairy realm or whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very great art. Kind of a weird story, but the art alone is worth it. So I give it a 4 out of 5.
Cool. Okay, it's a pretty cool story. All right. Last book I got to go talk about Avengers 682. Like I said, we are ramping up to get to 690 because they're saying it's going to be the grand finale of this Avengers story they have going on. This is like part, I don't know, whatever, of No Surrender. Basically how the book starts out. And Eli, this is kind of a Red Wolf story.
I saw him on the cover.
He's on the cover. So basically, how the book starts off is that it starts off in 1872. Starts off in 1872. Okay. Yeah, in the Valley of Doom. Okay, and we see Red Wolf standing. Red Wolf is standing over this canyon, and he's this this redneck hillbilly, whatever like that, got a gun pointed at him. He was like, yeah, you're in for it now. You can one more step, I'm gonna blow your brains out. Red Wolf doesn't say anything, just stands there, and he's recalling the story about what his mom telling him, like, only act when you need to act, know when the time is right. You can't know the path to the path presents itself, that stuff. So they cut back to New Mexico, present time in 2018, whole fucking battle just raging. And Red Wolf doing nothing. Red Wolf just standing there with his arms crossed, not engaged in the battle at all. Hawkeye just shooting shit left and right, so like that, arrows going all over the place. Like, give me a sit rep, find out what's going on. And I think Falcon flies in or something like that and tells him that little pyramid over there, we need to make sure they don't get their hands on that pyramid, otherwise the Earth is going to be destroyed. He's like, cool. So he starts shooting about it, make sure they don't get anywhere near the pyramid. Red Wolf still has his hands crossed, doesn't do anything. And they pretty much fight for like fucking 20 minutes or some shit. I don't know, 20 pages. Like, the book is just nothing but a big ass fight. Eventually, Red Wolf uncrosses his arms, and he was like, finally, I understand my path. I see my path in front of me. And he talks to Hawkeye. He was like, Hawkeye, when I give you the word, give me cover. Like, what the fuck you mean give you cover? I'm gonna make a go for it. He like, you can't make a go for it. You saw what happened to Human Torch. If you touch the pyramid, you die. He like, no, I won't. Like, what do you mean you won't? If I die, I'll come back. Don't worry about it. Like, okay, that's some weird shit. So anyway, Red Wolf just takes off running. Just runs straight for like Barry Sanders, some shit, like cutting through the O-line or something. Hawkeye is just taking out dudes in front of him and stuff like that. He's just running, hopping over dudes, dodging them, stiff arm, spin move, whatever.
Running brave.
Basically. So Red Wolf touches the pyramid, and of course, he disappears. Pyramid disappears, everything explodes, whatever like that implied, and game over, something like that. And then Falcon looks at Hawkeye like, Hawkeye, what the fuck are you doing? First you kill Bruce Banner, then you kill Red Wolf. Is that how you treat your friends? Just kill your friends all the time? And he turns to Falcon and says, Red Wolf isn't my friend, he's my brother. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And then they cut back to Grandmaster and the Challenger, overlooking, and they were like, oh shit, the Avengers are winning the contest. The Avengers win the contest, is gonna be a stalemate. And what happens to stalemate? We just gonna blow every fucking thing up anyway. And like, that's okay, because we got the last fifth pyramid. They call it the quintessence. And I'm gonna make sure if they put their hands on this, they're gonna have a real battle. And then while they doing that, we cut to Beast and Wasp. And they're looking over Jarvis, same fucking guy, who cares? Jarvis has Avengers fever. So he's dying, and they don't know why he's dying. They're trying to figure out every reason they can why he's dying. And all of a sudden, Jarvis just wakes up out of nowhere. He's like, it's a lie. It's all a lie. And then he passes back out, and when he starts passing it out, he flatlines. They're like, oh, we got to save him. He's flatlining right now. He's dying. But before they can do that, that fifth pyramid that the channel was talking about, it pops up in the middle of the hospital. And everybody starts freaking out shit like that. And Beast looks out the door of the hospital room, and he's like, oh, shit, there's a pyramid, so I know what that means. So he knows the Lethal Legion, the Black Order, and the Avengers about to tear that fucking hospital apart while they're trying to, resurrect Jarvis back from the dead. And then the Challenger cuts back to him. He was like, yeah, I'm going to make this game interesting. That hospital is going to be in trouble. And don't worry, I got another ringer, because my ringer is rage. And rage isn't betrayal. Rage doesn't care if you turn your back on it. Rage is cold. Rage is unstoppable. And rage will never die. And out of Nevada, the Incredible Hulk. I'm sorry, the Immortal Hulk. Okay. And they make sure to put in there Dr. Robert Bruce Banner. The Immortal Hulk will return in 7 days. They want you to make sure this is the Hulk this is your Hulk. Not Korean horny Hulk, teenage Hulk. The one that we know. And we don't know how it's going to turn out. Like I said, last time we saw Hulk, he was killed by Hawkeye. So he may be in a bad mood when he sees the Avengers. We don't know. Just gotta find out next week or something shit like that. So yeah, that's what the book's going on so far. Overall, I give it a 3 out of 5. Well, you know what? I give it a 3.5 out of 5 because I'm glad the book finally acknowledged that the book is just 20 minutes of just people beating the shit out of each other all the time. It's been like that for the last 4 books. Like, okay, is there any story to this? And finally, even though Red Wolf didn't really do shit to the very last page and he probably ended up dying at the very end of it, at least he, sat back and kind of, looked at it. Okay, if all they do is a fighting, let me study the battlefield and see what the fuck's going on, So, like I said, 3.5 out of 5. Hulk is back. He'll be there next week. We'll probably, review that book too. Who knows? But yeah, that's what I give for Avengers No Surrender.
Cool. All right. Well, my last book is from Heavy Metal Comics, their new line of comics they have. It's called Tarna. Now, for those who don't know, Tarna is from the movie, the Heavy Metal movie, the old 80s animated cartoon. The warrior chick with white hair who comes down, rides that like dinosaur pterodactyl thing and kicks ass, in a bikini, of course. Kind of shaped my my adolescence as far as like my fetish of hot chicks who can kick ass. So yeah, this is their Heavy Metal's been doing a whole line of comics, and this is one of them. And it's just it's Tarna #1. Basically, it's some weird alien world where some sort of fascist government is going on, and these 2 kids are kind of running the streets, pickpocketed and shit. And then Tarna falls out of the sky and just kind of lands inside this building. And they're like, "What the hell? Who are you?" And they get picked up by the police and thrown into this military, this ultra fascist military, where they have to fight these demon army. And it's very violent and gory and everything you'd want from Heavy Metal Comics. There's nudity, of course, so a lot of boobies and nipples and shit.
Awesome.
And ass kicking, and the art is awesome. It looks like a Mobius fucking strip. It's fucking pretty cool. Very simple, not nothing complicated, just a straight up sci-fi fantasy action comic going on. Nothing's really explained. It's just all set up in